Ethan Walker wasn't the kind of man who sought attention. A quiet professional shaped by discipline and loss, he carried himself like a man who had seen too much, too young. He had. 5 years ago, serving with Special Forces overseas, his unit was ambushed. Ethan stayed behind to cover their retreat, knowing it might cost him his life. It nearly did. Bullets tore through his side. Blood soaked into desert dust. As he faded, the whir of rescue helicopters filled the air. One hovered, laying suppressive fire. The other dropped, scooped him up, and vanished into the heat. Ethan woke up in a military hospital, stitched together but broken inside. The medal he was later handed a Silver Star for valor felt like a ghost's handshake. He was medically discharged. Unfit for duty, the paper said. The military thanked him, then quietly erased his mission from official records. He didn't care. He was alive. Back home in Boulder, Colorado, Ethan tried to rebuild. He got a job at a tech firm, tucked his scars away under crisp shirts and a quiet demeanor. He lived simply, spending little, saving much. Then came Claire. She was all laughter and eyes that sparkled when she talked. They met in the elevator. She spilled coffee on his papers. He laughed. She apologized 3 times. A week later, they had lunch. 3 months later, they were inseparable. She loved his silence. He loved her light. Within 6 months, they were married. They moved into Claire's condo downtown. Life fell into rhythm. Claire, smart and driven, rose quickly to head of the finance department. Ethan, methodical and respected, became director of engineering. They were a power couple admired, envied, photographed at company events. And then something shifted. It started with whispers at work, then the looks. Ethan noticed it all, the way Claire lingered by Dylan Carter's desk, Dylan, head of sales, the way she laughed a little too hard, the way their conversations at meetings seemed personal, charged. Then came the lunches, always work-related, always just the two of them. One night, Ethan said it plainly. "Claire, people are talking. About you and Dylan, about the way he looks at you. I'm your husband. Don't make me look like a fool." She rolled her eyes. "Dylan and I go way back. It's not like that. We work together, Ethan. You have lunch with him 3 times a week. Because you're always too busy." That night ended in silence. They didn't speak for days. When they did, it was surface level. Weather, groceries, work. But the air between them had changed, cold, brittle. One Friday, Claire suggested they go to lunch together. Ethan agreed. Maybe this was a peace offering. They walked into a small cafe near the office, sat at a booth by the window, ordered coffee. Then Dylan appeared. "Mind if I join you?" he asked, already dragging a chair over. Ethan looked at him, then at Claire. "Yes, I mind." "Relax, Ethan," Claire said, forcing a smile. "He just wants to talk. Then he can wait until office hours." Ethan stood, tossed a few bills on the table, and walked out. At home, the silence returned, heavier now. Dylan tried to apologize, cornered Ethan in the parking lot 2 days later. "Come on, man, it's nothing. Stay away from my wife," Ethan said flatly. "That's the only warning you get." Weeks passed. Claire pulled back slightly. No more lunches, no more laughter by Dylan's desk. Ethan noticed, but the trust was already cracked. Their 5th anniversary approached. Ethan offered 2 options. Dinner at home, just us, quiet. Or we book a table somewhere nice, wine, music, just you and me. Claire chose the cafe. No guests, no noise, just them. That afternoon, Ethan picked up a bottle of her favorite wine, a cake, and quietly retrieved a gift from his safety deposit box. A necklace, vintage, rare. He planned to give it to her after dinner in private. Instead, he walked into a trap. Ethan should have known something was off the moment Claire insisted he stay late to wrap up a report. By the time they left the office, the sun was setting, the city glowing gold through tinted glass. She guided him toward the cafe, same one as always, and he followed, the velvet box with the necklace still tucked inside his jacket. But as soon as the host led them to the back room, Ethan's stomach sank. There were people, dozens, colleagues, faces from every department laughing, drinking, raising glasses, balloons, a banner that read, "Happy 5 years," and right in the middle of it all, Dylan Carter, with his arm around a woman Ethan had never seen before. "Surprise!" Claire beamed, squeezing his hand. Ethan forced a smile. "You did this behind my back? It's our anniversary. I thought it'd be fun." Everyone chipped in. Fun. Ethan wanted to scream. Instead, he nodded stiffly, took a seat next to Claire and across from Dylan. Throughout the evening, Ethan watched her. Watched them. She was glowing. Not from wine, from Dylan. She laughed at his jokes, brushed his arm, accepted a dance without hesitation. The music drifted in from the next room, slow, warm, familiar. Dylan stood, extended his hand. Claire took it without even looking at Ethan. "One dance," she smiled. "No," Ethan muttered, but she was already gone. He followed. From the doorway, he saw her, Claire, twirling under soft lights, eyes locked with Dylan's. Then Dylan leaned in, whispered something, and kissed her. Not on the lips, just the cheek, but it was enough. Ethan turned, jaw clenched. The blood roared in his ears. He stalked to the men's room, waiting. When Dylan entered moments later, humming, washing his hands, Ethan stepped behind him. "I warned you," Ethan said quietly. Dylan turned, startled. "Come on, man, it was just—" The punch landed squarely, breaking Dylan's nose. He crumpled to the floor. Ethan washed his hands, dried them, and walked out. Chaos erupted minutes later. Someone found Dylan bleeding in the bathroom. Claire searched frantically for Ethan. Her friend Sophie whispered, "Well, Claire, looks like you finally pushed him too far." Claire stared at her. "What do you mean? You danced with Dylan on your anniversary. You kissed him in front of everyone." "He kissed me." "Same thing. Everyone saw it. And Ethan, he's a soldier, not a clown. You embarrassed him." Across the room, Tracy Carter Dillon's wife was getting the story too. When she pieced it together, she stormed across the cafe and slapped Dylan in front of half the staff. "Don't come home," she hissed. Then she saw Claire. Without a word, she punched her too. Claire stumbled back, stunned. The music died. The laughter froze. No one said a word. Claire went home alone that night. Ethan was gone. The next morning, his things were missing from their bedroom. The door to the guest room was closed, locked, a chair wedged under the knob from inside. Claire knocked. "Ethan, talk to me." Silence. "You ruined everything," she yelled. "You embarrassed me, on our anniversary." His voice was calm, cold. "No, Claire, you embarrassed me. It was just a dance, and a kiss, and the months of whispering, the lunches, the lies. We're married. Not anymore." That night, Ethan didn't sleep in the apartment. He drove, drank coffee at a roadside diner, thought, remembered. The next morning, he showed up early at work, walked straight into Mr. Grant's office. "I'm resigning," he said. Mr. Grant looked up, surprised. "Why?" "I'm leaving Claire, and I don't want to be anywhere near this mess." "You're one of my best department heads. I've made arrangements. My deputy will take over, and I already got a job offer." Mr. Grant studied him for a long moment, then nodded slowly. "You sure about this?" "Completely." That Monday, Ethan started fresh in a new firm in Fort Collins. New team, new air, new life, but ghosts don't vanish with the job title. That night, sitting in his empty apartment, he looked at the velvet box he never gave her, opened it, stared at the necklace, then snapped the box shut and dropped it in the trash. Claire Bennett sat at the kitchen table, staring out the window at a street that had never looked so empty. Ethan hadn't come home. Not that night, not the next, not ever again. She called Sophie. "Did you pay the bill at the cafe?" "Of course. With the money you gave me and Claire, everyone was talking. You should have seen their faces when Tracy slapped you." "I didn't deserve that. Didn't you?" The call ended in silence. Claire tried texting Ethan, calling, voicemail, nothing. When Sunday rolled around, she stopped pretending. She knew he wasn't coming back. Ethan, meanwhile, was staying with Dr. Luke Harris, his old surgeon, now a friend. Luke welcomed him like family. They shared a bottle of good bourbon and talked until sunrise. "So, you clocked the guy at the cafe?" "He kissed her. I warned him." "You hit him hard enough to crack his skull?" "It was just one punch." Luke laughed. "Not according to the hospital report. His wife broke a kitchen utensil on his head later. Honestly, I'm surprised the guy's still upright." They toasted in silence. "You leaving Claire for good?" Luke asked. "Yeah." "And the job?" "Gone. Got another. Starts Monday." "That was fast. They taught me to act fast." "They taught you to survive," Luke said. "And you did. You always do." Claire kept hoping. That Monday, she waited by the door. No sign of Ethan. She checked with HR he'd officially resigned. No one knew where he went. She tried to look strong at work, painting over her bruised cheek with concealer, but people whispered anyway. Dylan hadn't returned, and everyone knew why. Then came the final blow. Mr. Grant called an emergency meeting. Claire, sitting in the corner, watched as he introduced a new interim director. "Wait," she asked. "What about Ethan?" "Ms. Bennett," he said flatly. "Mr. Walker resigned. Apparently, you were unaware. We're going through something. Clearly." And then he added, loud enough for the whole room, "Let this be a lesson to everyone. Don't go dancing where you sleep, and don't sleep where you dance." Later, Sophie found Claire sitting alone in the break room, holding a cold cup of coffee. "You okay?" Claire shook her head. "I thought I could fix it. You danced with another man on your anniversary. It was just a stupid dance." "No, Claire, it was a message. Everyone saw it. And Ethan, he's not the type to beg." Claire blinked back tears. "I still love him." "Then why didn't you choose him that night?" No answer. Elsewhere, Ethan was settling in. His new job was quieter, smaller, but the people were solid. He kept to himself mostly, until he met Natalie Morgan. She worked in accounting, soft-spoken, graceful, with tired eyes that had seen more than they said. They met in the break room. She spilled tea on his notebook. He laughed. "Is this how all my relationships start?" he joked. She blushed. Their conversations grew longer. He learned her story slowly. She was a widow. Her late husband, David, had died in service just like Ethan nearly had. She had a son, 4 years old, Lucas. Ethan didn't ask questions, just listened. One afternoon, she asked, "You ever feel like life gave you a second chance, but didn't tell you what to do with it?" "Every day." Meanwhile, Claire hired a lawyer. "I want to stop the divorce," she said. But Ethan had already filed. With cause. The court had her public actions, documented photos, witness statements. "You can challenge it," the attorney said, "but it will be ugly, and you'll probably lose. He won't speak to me. He doesn't need to. Legally, he's already halfway gone." Claire clenched her fists. "Then I won't sign anything. Let him suffer." He's not suffering, Miss Bennett. He's already moved out, found a new job, and, from what I hear, he's not alone. Claire's heart stopped. He's seeing someone? It's not official, but yes, it was a quiet Saturday when Dr. Harris called Ethan. You remember David Morgan? Natalie's late husband? Yeah, he died recently. Took me a while to realize we served in the same search unit once. What happened? Bad intel. He died trying to protect the team, but there's more. Ethan didn't like the tone in Luke's voice. I'm listening. Natalie mentioned a flash drive. Said David gave it to her before his last mission. Told her to give it to someone named Ethan if anything happened. Ethan felt his stomach drop. She still has it. Yeah, hidden in her son's room. She never looked. We need to get it. That evening, Ethan drove Natalie and little Lucas to her apartment. The place looked untouched. But Ethan, trained to notice what others missed, saw it immediately. A chair slightly moved. A drawer left ajar. A cigarette butt by the window. Someone's been here. Natalie grabbed Lucas. What does that mean? They were searching for something. Probably the drive. Ethan found it quickly tucked inside a children's book on the top shelf. Just as they turned to leave, a black SUV pulled up outside. Get back, Ethan whispered. We're not alone. 3 men stepped out of the vehicle, dressed in black, sunglasses at dusk. One of them called out, Mr. Walker, we just want to talk. Bad time. Ethan shoved the drive into his pocket, positioned himself between Natalie and the child. We want the flash drive. And the woman. Try me. The first man moved. Ethan struck hard military precision. The man dropped. The second pulled a gun. Ethan twisted his wrist, flipped him to the ground. Then a third man raised his weapon. The roar of an engine cut through the tension. A truck swerved into the alley, skidding to a stop. Dr. Harris leapt out, wielding a hunting rifle. Step back, or I start counting bodies. The remaining men froze. This isn't over, one of them hissed. It is for now. They fled, but the threat remained. Back at Luke's place, they opened the drive. Ethan entered a password, David's last mission date. It worked. Files, dozens of them, photos, videos, names, proof of corruption, military contracts awarded to shell companies, faulty equipment, disappeared funds, and among the names people Ethan knew, some high-ranking. David died for this, Ethan muttered. What do we do? Natalie asked. We take it to someone who can act. FBI? Hire. They made contact with a trusted official. Anonymous drop, burners only. Within 72 hours, federal investigators swooped in. The agents who came after them. Disavowed, arrested. The people on the flash drive, indicted. The man who betrayed David Morgan, stripped of rank and awaiting trial. Back in Boulder, Claire watched it all unfold on the news. Corruption charges, military scandal, arrests. She saw Ethan's name mentioned only once, briefly. Whistleblower source, formerly Special Forces. Her hands trembled. Meanwhile, Ethan brought Natalie and Lucas home. You're safe now, he told her. You didn't have to do this, she said. David saved my life once. This was repaying a debt. And what now? He hesitated. Then, now we live. Claire showed up unannounced at Ethan's new office. She wore her best dress. Subtle makeup, a smile that didn't reach her eyes. The receptionist seemed startled to see her. He's in a meeting, she said. Claire waited. She waited 20 minutes. When Ethan finally emerged, he wasn't surprised. Not anymore. You found me, he said calmly. It wasn't hard. What do you want, Claire? To talk. He gestured toward his office. 5 minutes. Inside, she walked past the desk and stood by the window. Same stance she always took when she was upset. "You're different," she said, colder. "I'm not angry anymore. That's the difference. Then we can talk. We're talking now." She turned. "I miss you." "No, Claire, you miss who I was when I loved you." "That's not fair." "Neither was dancing with someone else on our anniversary." She flinched. "I made a mistake." "More than one." "We can fix this. I'll do whatever it takes. Counseling, apologies, you name it." "I've already filed for divorce. You haven't signed yet." Ethan opened the drawer, pulled out the documents, placed them on the desk. "Actually, I did. This morning." Claire stared at the papers. "So, that's it." "That's it." There was a long pause. Then Claire said something that didn't sound like her. "Is she pretty?" "Yes," Ethan said. "Does she love you?" "She respects me. That's a start." Claire's voice cracked. "I didn't mean to lose you. I didn't mean to stop waiting." Later that day, Natalie knocked on his office door. "Your wife was here?" "Ex-wife." "Are you okay?" He looked at her for a long moment. "She wanted to go back. And you?" Ethan reached over, took her hand. "I'm not going back." That night, Claire sat in her car outside the building, watching the lights go out. She saw Ethan walk Natalie to her car, saw them hug, saw the boy run up, arms outstretched, and she knew that door would never open again. Spring came late to Fort Collins that year. The snow lingered longer than usual, clinging to rooftops, stubborn in the shade. But when it finally melted, it revealed something new. Ethan stood in the kitchen of his small but quiet home, watching Natalie help Lucas with his backpack. The boy's laugh echoed against the walls. It didn't feel strange anymore. It felt right. He stepped forward, kneeling. "Hey, Lucas." "Yeah? Would it be okay if I picked you up from school today?" The boy grinned. "Can we go to the park?" Ethan smiled. "Yeah, we can go to the park." Natalie met his eyes. She didn't speak, but her hand gently brushed his. They didn't need many words anymore. 2 weeks later, on a quiet Friday evening, Ethan sat with Mr. Richard Grant in a conference room. "We're merging both companies," Richard explained. "The board wants you as the new managing director. Think you're up for it?" Ethan nodded. "I'm not running from anything anymore." On the day the divorce was finalized, Claire signed the papers with a shaking hand. She didn't cry, she'd done enough of that. But when she left the courthouse, she looked up at the sky. It was blue, open, unforgiving. She passed a bakery where she and Ethan once sat in silence, sharing a cherry Danish. That day had been one of their best. She realized then she hadn't lost Ethan at the cafe. She lost him the moment she stopped making him feel chosen. That same evening, Natalie found Ethan out on the porch, watching the sky darken. She sat beside him. "He asked again today," she said softly. "Lucas?" She nodded. "What did he say?" "He asked if I was going to marry his new dad." Ethan laughed, a low, warm sound that hadn't come from him in years. "What did you say?" "I said we should ask him first." Ethan turned. Natalie's eyes searched his, not for an answer, but for permission to hope. He reached into his coat pocket, pulled out a small velvet box. Not the necklace, something new, something real. "I guess now's a good time," he said. They married quietly the next spring. No speeches, no grand crowd. Just vows spoken in the open air. A boy laughing. A man healed. A woman safe. Some people never leave scars. Some people help you carry them. Sometimes life takes us the long way around, through pain, betrayal, even loss. But if we keep moving, if we keep doing the right thing, even when it's hard, we may just end up exactly where we belong. If this story touched something in you, give it a like. And if you believe, like I do, that good people still exist, subscribe. We've got more stories to tell, and maybe, just maybe, one of them will feel like yours.